Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly focused on yourself? Not your job, not your family, not your friends, not your responsibilities, but you. Most people go through life running on empty, giving everything they have to others while completely ignoring their own needs. And then they wonder why they feel drained, frustrated, or stuck. See, the truth is you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give your best to your loved ones, your dreams, or your goals if you keep putting yourself last. And here's what most people don't realize. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. Because if you don't take care of yourself, who will? If you don't set boundaries, who's going to respect them? If you don't chase your own dreams, who's going to hand them to you? Today, I'm going to give you 10 ways to start focusing on yourself. Because once you start making yourself a priority, everything in your life will start to change. Your energy will shift, your confidence will grow, and you'll finally start living the life you deserve. So stay with me, because this is a message you don't want to miss. Too many people are out here saying yes to everything and everyone except themselves. They agree to things they don't want to do, take on responsibilities that aren't theirs, and stretch themselves thin trying to please others. And the whole time, they're ignoring their own needs, their own peace, their own happiness. Learning to say no without feeling guilty is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Because every time you say yes to something that drains you, you are saying no to something that could be fulfilling you. People will always ask for your time, your energy, and your effort. And if you don't set boundaries, they will take as much as you allow. That's just human nature. Most people don't even realize they're overstepping. They just know that you're always available, always willing, always the one they can call when they need something. But just because people expect you to say yes doesn't mean you have to. Just because they assume you'll handle it doesn't mean it's your responsibility. You have to start protecting your time like it's your most valuable resource, because it is. The problem is many of us feel guilty when we say no. We feel like we're letting someone down, like we're being rude, like we're not doing enough. But let me tell you something. Saying no is not selfish. It is self-care. You are not on this earth to be at everyone's service 24/7. You have a life to live, dreams to chase, peace to protect, and every time you agree to something out of guilt, you are robbing yourself of that. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what if it's family? What if it's my best friend? What if they really need me? Listen, I'm not telling you to turn your back on people who matter. I'm telling you to recognize the difference between helping out when you truly can and overextending yourself at your own expense. There is a balance, and it's your job to find it. If saying yes means sacrificing your mental health, your time, or your well-being, then that yes is costing you too much. Think about the people in your life, the ones who always seem to need something. If you're always there for them, do they ever take a moment to check on you? Do they ever ask if you're okay? Or do they only come around when they need something? Because let me tell you something. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. Some people will take and take and take until you have nothing left to give. And if you don't start saying no, you will wake up one day completely burned out, wondering why you feel so tired, so used, so empty. So how do you start saying no without feeling bad about it? First, understand that you don't owe anyone an explanation. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to justify it, over-explain it, or make excuses. If someone asks you for something and you don't have the time, the energy, or simply don't want to do it, just say, no, I can't do that right now. That doesn't work for me. I have other priorities at the moment. That's it. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to feel bad. And you definitely don't have to say yes just to make someone else happy. Second, remind yourself why you are setting boundaries. Every time you say no to something that drains you, you are saying yes to something that builds you. You are protecting your time, your peace, your happiness. And the people who truly care about you will respect that. The ones who get angry, the ones who try to guilt trip you, manipulate you, or make you feel bad, those are the people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. And losing them is not a loss, it's freedom. Lastly, remember that saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who values themselves. It makes you a person who understands their worth, who doesn't let people walk all over them, who knows that their time and energy are valuable. And when you start choosing yourself, you will notice something amazing. You will start to attract the right people, the right opportunities, the right energy. So stop feeling guilty for protecting yourself. Stop saying yes just to avoid conflict. Stop putting yourself last. Because the moment you learn to say no without guilt, you will realize that you never needed anyone's approval to put yourself first. A lot of people are carrying stress, frustration, and disappointment simply because they are too busy worried about things they can't control. They waste their energy trying to change people who don't want to change, fix situations that aren't theirs to fix, and stress over outcomes that are completely out of their hands. And then they wonder why they're exhausted, frustrated, or feeling stuck. The truth is, you can't control everything. No matter how much effort you put in, how much you care, how much you try, some things are simply not up to you. And the moment you accept that, life gets a whole lot easier. See, a lot of frustration in life comes from the gap between expectation and reality. We expect people to treat us a certain way, and when they don't, we get upset. We expect situations to go a certain way, and when they don't, we feel defeated. But what if instead of trying to force everything to fit into our plans, we learn to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't? Think about it. Have you ever tried to change someone who doesn't want to change? Maybe it's a friend, a family member, or a partner. You give them advice. You try to help them. You show them a better way, but no matter what you do, they stay the same. And the more you try, the more frustrated you get. You lose sleep over it. You stress yourself out. But at the end of the day, they still going to do what they want to do. Because people don't change unless they want to. No amount of talking, arguing, or worrying will change that. The same thing goes for situations that are out of your hands. Let's say you're dealing with a tough situation at work. Maybe your boss is being unfair. Maybe your coworker is making your life difficult. Or maybe you're waiting on something that feels like it's never going to happen. You sit there, replaying conversations in your head, thinking about what you should have said, what you could have done differently. But let me ask you, does any of that change the situation? No. It just drains your energy. It just keeps you stuck in frustration. Now, I'm not saying you should just sit back and accept whatever happens. What I'm saying is that you need to focus on what you can control. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can't control every situation, but you can control your attitude toward it. You can't control the obstacles life throws at you, but you can control how you react to them. And that right there is where your power is. When you let go of what you can't control, you take your power back. You stop letting outside circumstances dictate your peace. You stop allowing other people's actions to determine your mood. You stop stressing over things that were never yours to carry in the first place. And let me tell you, that kind of peace is priceless. So how do you start letting go? First, whenever you feel yourself getting frustrated or stressed, ask yourself, is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, let it go. If someone is treating you poorly, you can't control their actions, but you can control whether you allow them in your life. If a situation isn't working out, you can't always change the outcome, but you can control how you respond to it. The more you focus on what you can do, the less power you give to what you can't. Second, practice shifting your energy. Every time you catch yourself overthinking, stressing, or trying to force an outcome, take a deep breath and remind yourself, I am only responsible for what I can control. Instead of worrying about whether something will work out, focus on what you can do right now. Instead of stressing over how someone feels about you, focus on how you feel about yourself. Instead of fighting battles that aren't yours to fight, focus on protecting your peace. And lastly, understand that some things are meant to unfold in their own time. Sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something better. Sometimes the things you're stressing over today won't even matter a year from now. And sometimes the best thing you can do is step back, breathe, and trust that what's meant for you will always find its way. When you stop trying to control everything, you free yourself. You allow peace to replace stress, clarity to replace frustration, and faith to replace fear. And once you experience that kind of freedom, you'll never go back to carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. Too many people go through life allowing the opinions and actions of others to control their emotions. They let a negative comment ruin their day, a rude coworker get under their skin, or a disagreement turn into a week-long grudge. But here's the truth. When you react to everything and everyone, you give away your power. You let other people dictate your happiness. You let outside circumstances determine your peace. And when you do that, you will always feel out of control. Think about it. Have you ever had a great morning? Everything is going smooth, you're in a good mood, and then out of nowhere, someone says or does something that completely changes your energy. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic. Maybe your boss criticizes your work. Maybe a friend cancels plans on you. Whatever it is, now you're upset. You're replaying the situation in your head, carrying that frustration into the rest of your day. And for what? Because of something you can't control. That's the problem. You react to everything. You put your emotions in the hands of others. You allow people, circumstances, and even minor inconveniences to affect how you feel. But here's the thing. You don't have to react to everything. You don't have to get angry every time someone does something you don't like. You don't have to argue with every person who disagrees with you. You don't have to take every piece of negativity personally. The moment you realize that, you take back control. See, people are going to be who they are. Some folks are rude, some are negative, some are just plain difficult. That's not your problem. What someone else says or does is a reflection of them, not you. Their attitude is their responsibility, not yours. The way they treat people is a reflection of their character, not yours. The moment you stop reacting to people who don't deserve your energy, you win. Let me tell you something. Some people are just looking for a reaction. They want to upset you. They want to push your buttons. They want to see if they can get you worked up. And the best thing you can do in those situations, don't give them what they want. Stay calm. Stay unbothered. When someone is being negative, let them be negative. Just don't let it affect you. When someone is trying to start an argument, don't engage. When someone is rude for no reason, don't take it personally. The moment you refuse to react, you take away their power over you. Now, does this mean you let people walk all over you? No. It means you learn to respond with control, not emotion. It means you choose peace over unnecessary conflict. It means you stop letting things that won't matter tomorrow ruin your mood today. There's power in being able to say, I'm not giving this my energy. So how do you do it? How do you stop reacting to everything? First, practice pausing before you respond. When something upsets you, don't react right away. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this even worth my energy? Will this matter in a week, in a month, in a year? Most of the time, the answer is no. And if it won't matter later, why let it affect you now? Second, remind yourself that you are in control of your emotions. No one can make you mad. No one can make you upset. They might do something frustrating, sure, but how you respond is your choice. You can let it ruin your day, or you can brush it off and move on. You can engage in drama, or you can choose peace. And third, focus on what really matters. So many people waste their energy on things that don't add value to their life. They get worked up over opinions that don't matter, arguments that don't change anything, and situations that are out of their control. But when you focus on your goals, your peace, and your happiness, you don't have time to be bothered. You don't have time to get caught up in nonsense. You don't have time to waste energy on things that don't serve you. At the end of the day, life is too short to spend it being angry over things that don't matter. You have the power to control your emotions, to protect your peace, and to decide what's worth your energy. And once you master that, nothing, no one can take your happiness away from you. There is a simple but powerful truth that most people never fully understand. Your happiness is your responsibility. Too many people walk around waiting for someone or something to make them happy. They think if I could just get that promotion, I'd be happy. If my partner treated me better, I'd be happy. If I had more money, I'd be happy. But that's the wrong way to think, because the moment you tie your happiness to something outside of yourself, you give away control over your own joy. Think about it. If your happiness is dependent on your job, what happens when work gets stressful? If your happiness is based on other people, what happens when they disappoint you? If your happiness is tied to money, what happens when finances aren't great? See, when your joy is always attached to something or someone else, you set yourself up for constant disappointment. Because the reality is, you can't control other people. You can't control every situation, but you can control yourself. You can control your perspective. You can control how you respond. And when you learn to create happiness from within, doesn't matter what's happening around you, you stay at peace. The problem is, most people don't realize they have this power. They've trained themselves to believe that happiness is something they have to wait for, something that happens to them, instead of something they can create. And because of that, they spend their whole lives feeling like they're missing something. Like there's always one more thing they need in order to finally be happy. But let me tell you something. If you can't find joy where you are right now, you won't find it when you get there either. If you can't be happy in the process, you won't be happy with the result. Because happiness isn't a destination, it's a decision. That's why you have to stop looking for happiness in things that can be taken away. Your job can change, people can change, circumstances can change, but the one thing that's always with you, you. And if you learn how to find happiness within yourself, nothing and no one can take it away from you. That's where real power is. Because when your happiness comes from within, you stop being so affected by things you can't control. You stop letting people's opinions dictate how you feel. You stop waiting for life to be perfect before you decide to be happy. Now, does this mean you won't have bad days? Of course not. Everyone goes through tough times. But when your happiness is rooted in who you are instead of what you have or what's happening around you, those tough times don't break you. They don't steal your joy. They don't control your emotions. Because you understand that no situation, no person, no challenge can define your happiness unless you let it. So how do you start? First, take responsibility for your own joy. Stop waiting for other people to make you happy. Stop blaming circumstances for why you're unhappy. Happiness isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to see it. Second, practice gratitude. It's impossible to be unhappy when you're truly grateful. Start focusing on what's good in your life instead of what's missing. Every day, remind yourself of the blessings you have. Because when you shift your focus to appreciation instead of always wanting more, you start to see that you already have everything you need to be happy. And third, stop letting temporary problems steal your permanent joy. most of the things that stress you out right now won't even matter in a few months. So why let them ruin your peace today? Learn to let go. Learn to focus on what you can control. Learn to protect your energy, because the moment you decide that nothing outside of you has the power to take away your happiness, you become unstoppable. At the end of the day, you have two choices. You can keep waiting for happiness to find you, or you can create it yourself. And if you choose to take control of your own joy, if you choose to find peace from within, then no matter what life throws at you, you will always come out on top. One of the most important things you can do for yourself is to protect your peace. Too many people go through life allowing everything and everyone to disturb their spirit. They let small problems turn into big stress. They let negative people drain their energy. They let disappointment steal their joy. But if you want to focus on yourself and truly grow, you have to learn how to guard your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Think about this. You wouldn't leave your house wide open for just anyone to walk in, would you? You wouldn't let strangers come in and take whatever they wanted, make a mess, or destroy the things you care about. So why do so many people let negativity walk right into their minds and emotions? Why do they allow stress, drama, and toxic people to disturb their peace? See, your peace is like your home. It's a place you should protect, a place where you should feel safe, calm, and in control. But too often people let anything and anyone disrupt it. One of the biggest things that steal peace is unnecessary drama. Some people thrive on drama. They love stirring up trouble, gossiping, and keeping mess going. And if you're not careful, they'll pull you right into their storm. But here's the truth. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to entertain every bit of negativity someone brings your way. Sometimes the best way to protect your peace is to simply walk away. Not everything deserves your energy. Not every battle is worth fighting. Learn to pick your battles wisely, because some fights aren't about winning, they're just about wasting your time. Another way people lose their peace is by worrying about things they can't control. Worry is one of the biggest thieves of joy. It keeps you up at night, it drains your energy, it makes you anxious over things that might not even happen. But here's the thing, if you can't control it, why stress over it? And if you can control it, why not take action instead of worrying? Worrying doesn't solve problems. It just makes you miserable in the process. If you want to protect your peace, you have to let go of what you can't change and focus on what you can. Toxic relationships are another major thing that steal peace. Some people are just not good for your spirit. They drain you, they bring negativity, and they leave you feeling worse instead of better. And yet people hold on to toxic relationships because they're afraid of letting go. But you have to ask yourself, is keeping this person in my life worth my peace? If the answer is no, then it's time to set some boundaries. Because the truth is, you don't owe anyone access to your mind, your energy, or your emotions if they are constantly bringing you down. Social media is another big peace stealer. Too many people wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is check their phones. They start comparing their lives to what they see online. They get frustrated by negative news. They let strangers on the internet affect their mood. But why give so much power to something that isn't even real life? Social media should never have the ability to dictate how you feel about yourself or your life. If it's making you feel anxious, jealous, or frustrated, take a step back. Unfollow pages that make you feel bad. Limit your time online. Protect your peace by choosing what you allow into your mind. One of the best ways to guard your peace is by learning how to say no. Too many people are stressed, overworked, and exhausted because they don't know how to say no. They take on too many responsibilities, they agree to things they don't want to do, and they end up feeling drained. But every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to your own peace. Learn to say no without feeling guilty. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify it. Your peace is reason enough. Finally, protecting your peace means making time for yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're constantly giving, constantly working, constantly busy, but never taking time to recharge, you're going to burn out. Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary. Take time to do things that make you happy. Spend time in silence. Meditate, pray, go for a walk, listen to music, read a book. Whatever brings you peace, do more of that. Because at the end of the day, peace isn't something that just happens. It's something you create and protect. So make the choice today. Stop letting outside things steal your peace. Stop allowing negativity to take over your mind. Guard your peace the way you would guard your most valuable possession, because it is. And once you do, you'll realize that peace isn't just the absence of problems. It's the presence of strength, clarity, and true happiness. One of the most important things you can do to focus on yourself is to learn how to be alone without feeling lonely. Too many people are afraid of solitude. They think if they're alone, something is wrong with them or they're missing out on something. But the truth is, solitude is not a punishment, it's a blessing. It's in the quiet moments when you truly get to know yourself, when you grow, when you heal, and when you find clarity about what you really want in life. People who fear being alone often fill their time with distractions. They surround themselves with people, even if those people don't add any real value to their lives. They stay in relationships that aren't fulfilling. They keep busy with activities that drain them, and they never take the time to just sit with themselves. But the problem with that is, if you're always running from solitude, you're also running from growth, because it's in those moments of quiet that you face yourself. You reflect, you learn, and you start understanding what you need to change in your life. When you embrace solitude, you start realizing that you don't need constant validation from other people. You don't need to be in a crowd to feel important. You don't need to be in a relationship to feel complete. You are already enough on your own. But if you never take time to sit with yourself, you'll always look for external things to fill that void. And the truth is, nothing external will ever give you true inner peace. That has to come from within. Being comfortable alone doesn't mean isolating yourself or pushing people away. It simply means that you're okay with your own company. You enjoy your own presence. You don't rely on others to entertain you or make you feel whole. And when you reach that point, you become powerful. Because when you're not desperate for company, you choose relationships based on value, not out of fear of being alone. You start attracting the right people into your life because you're coming from a place of strength, not neediness. Some of the greatest moments of growth happen in solitude. When you're alone, you have time to think about your goals, your dreams, and your next steps. You're not distracted by noise, opinions, or the pressure to please others. You can focus entirely on yourself. That's why some of the most successful people in the world prioritize alone time. They understand that to move forward in life, you have to give yourself time to plan, reflect, and recharge. If you're afraid of being alone, start small. Spend a few minutes each day without distractions. No phone, no TV, no conversations, just you and your thoughts. Go for a walk by yourself. Take yourself out to eat. Travel alone. Do things that make you feel independent and comfortable in your own skin. The more time you spend with yourself, the more you'll realize that solitude is not something to fear, it's something to cherish. Another reason people struggle with being alone is because they don't like what they see when they're by themselves. They use distractions to avoid facing their problems, their fears, or their past mistakes. But avoiding those things doesn't make them disappear. It just delays your healing and growth. When you take time to be alone, you give yourself space to work through things, to heal from what hurt you, and to become stronger because of it. Learning to be alone also builds confidence. When you're comfortable in your own company, you don't need anyone else to make you feel worthy. You don't feel pressure to fit in or follow the crowd. You do things because you truly want to, not because you're afraid of being left out. And that kind of confidence is rare. It makes you stand out. It makes you magnetic. People respect and admire those who are secure in themselves. Being alone also allows you to recharge. Life is exhausting, and constantly being around people can drain you. You need time to reset, to breathe, and to take care of yourself. If you're always surrounded by noise, you'll never hear your own thoughts. If you're always entertaining others, you'll never have time to take care of your own needs. Make solitude a priority, not just an afterthought. At the end of the day, you are the only person you will be with for your entire life. Everyone else comes and goes, friends, family, relationships, but you will always have yourself. So the question is, do you love your own company? Are you comfortable in your own presence? If not, it's time to start working on that. Because when you truly enjoy being alone, you are never lonely, you are at peace. And that peace is priceless.